Shalom, shalom, Kwame Sha'Allah. First and foremost, as always, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of GMS to USA Shalom, and Shalom unto the hopeful elect, Kwame Sha'Allah and Abad Babal. This Trump guy is signing all these executive orders like no tomorrow, non-stop. This guy ain't playing. And we're just about to finish January, and so many things happen during this month. And this is the new thing as of late. This Trump guy, he's gonna build an Iron Dome style defense system, one that's similar to the one that they have in Israel, and this is set up to protect America from missiles. So he's planning to protect America from pretty much nuclear destruction. That's where it's heading. And I'm gonna actually, this actually ties into Jeremiah the 51st chapter, going into that brigadine, and that brigadine being an old English word, which just simply means it's armor hiding behind his brigadine. That brigadine is going into the missile defense systems, but it's not going to protect this place. This place is destined to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. America is going to burn like an oven, pursuant to Malachi the 4th chapter. It's a type of fire that mankind has never experienced before, and all of America is going to be destroyed. Now, let's read the article. It says, this is from the New York Times. I'll post a link in the description, obviously, during post-production, for anybody that wants to go take a look at the article for themselves. It says, Trump orders an Iron Dome style defense system. Experts are skeptical. An executive order said the United States faced a catastrophic threat from advanced aerial weapons, but a defense system like Israel's may not be feasible in the country, which is more than 400 times larger. Yeah, can this really protect the whole country? No, because when you go into, I believe, the book of Revelation, I think it's the 9th chapter, it said that this place is going to be bombarded by 200,000 missiles, which is really 200 million missiles. This place is going to be bombarded by missiles. I don't even think this Iron Dome can keep up. But Trump knows something that we don't know, or the general public doesn't know, because we know that war is coming, us brothers that are in the truth. But Trump as well, and these different leaders, they know that World War III is going to happen. A war is coming, and they're doing everything in their power on the left-hand side to upset the prophecies and really to prepare. But we know America is going to be totally destroyed. So anyways, this is posted January 28, 2025, so that was today. And it says President Trump has ordered the development of a next-generation missile defense system he likened to Israel's Iron Dome in an executive order he signed on Monday that described ballistic missiles and other advanced aerial weapons as the most catastrophic threat facing the United States. But experts immediately raised questions about whether an Iron Dome-style system was feasible for the United States, which is more than 400 times the size of Israel. The order, titled Iron Dome for America, gives the Pentagon 60 days to submit details for the plan, which includes accelerating development of U.S. hypersonic missiles and space-based interceptors. Mr. Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the new system would be a significant expansion of the United States air defense capabilities. The order aims to build on efforts by the United States over decades and presents Mr. Trump's plan as an attempt to finalize a vision of Ronald Reagan. Yeah, he was like, he tried to build a space force, and also he actually talked about the threat of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, how Yahushai, being Yahweh's son, is going to crack them skies and take over this world. That's what he was really talking about. But what the world ignorantly calls it aliens or UFOs and things of that nature, which they're not aliens, they're not UFOs, they're really chariots, and they're really called angels. And that's what they're planning for, right? But anyways, it says, as president in the 1980s, Reagan spent billions to build defense against potential nuclear attack, a system known as Star Wars that ultimately failed. Proponents of such a system for the United States points to recent events, including Russia's use of hypersonic missiles in Ukraine and missile barrages on Israel last year from Iran and the allied Lebanese militia Hezbollah. Israel's Iron Dome anti-projectile system, made by an Israeli company called Rafael. Rafael is one of the chief archangels, by the way. Funny they name it Raphael, huh? But Raphael ain't with you. That Raphael that you're describing is really Satan, buddy. You damn gutter rats, man. You have the nerve, man. The synagogue of Satan. Hey, man, the synagogue of Satan, man. You're going into slavery, man. Because you come out of the nation of Edom. And you're one of the dukes of Esau, man. Okay, you're his grandson, Amalek. You're going into slavery. And the Lord didn't forget about you. He has a beef with you, a perpetual hatred and beef towards you. And what you did to us in the ancient world, that still carries over today. It's still in effect. And we're not to forget you, man. You damn Khazars, man. Anyways, it says, help intercept many of the launches, but shielding the United States from such attacks presents technical challenges that far exceed those faced by Israel. Experts said missile defense is most effective as a shield for a smaller country, they said, and the cost of developing one for the United States could be prohibitive. It's going to be very problematic. It's going to be extremely expensive. Who's going to pay for that? Donald Trump ain't going to come out of his pocket. Donald Trump's a businessman. Okay? You people are going to pay for that. And they're going to work you to death and make sure you pay for it. You stupid idiots. Anyway, it says, building a missile defense system for the United States that would protect against all threats could bankrupt the nation. There you go. According to Siddharth Kaushal, a senior research fellow at the Royal United Services Institute, a research organization in London. But he said that Mr. Trump's executive order was vague and left open the possibility that the administration could either go full tilt at developing a system or alternatively adopt a more incremental approach by increasing funding by existing programs. You could intercept it both ways, he said. Of course it's going to be very vague. He's a politician. He's not supposed to tell you things in detail. Okay? Because that's politics. That's what politicians do. They pretend that they're working for you, but they're really working against you. And that's why they talk vague. Because he's a damn serpent. Remember, the scripture says, never trust thine enemy. You know why? He's like a serpent. And what does a serpent have? A serpent has a forked tongue. He says one thing, but he means the other thing. You damn devils, man. And that's what you get, man, for trusting in this goddamn place. Let me see if I can find it. I think that's in, I think it's Sirach 12. Never trust thine enemy. Yeah, here we go. This is Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rougheth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beast? There you go, man. And why should we pity you, people, when you trust this devil? Look how you so-called Mexicans are being treated because you trust a serpent. And that's what happens when you play with a snake, especially a dangerous snake, like a cobra or a venomous rattlesnake, because that's what you're playing with. Donald Trump is a cobra, man. He's a serious serpent. And you got bitten by him. He spit that poison in your face and he bit you. You got fucked over. But I'm not going to pity anybody that plays with a dangerous animal, man. You should know better, right? And this guy, he's humbling himself. Well, pretending to, right? By saying he's going to help you. He's going to do all these things. He's going to sign all these executive orders and solve America's problems, right? You idiots. You foolish people. Talking about, the public, You people that are getting caught up into the two-party system. And you think that it's going to solve your problems. Especially you Edomites, man. You Edomites think this system's really gonna help you. It's not gonna help you anymore. It's going down. Okay. So yeah, man. So let's move on. So it says here, the executive order did not specify which countries might be considered a threat for potential missile attacks, but experts say they include Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, and such attacks could be launched from submarines whose mobility add further complications to any missile defense system. Israel's missile defense challenge is a lot easier, and the warfare now is way more advanced than it was in the ancient world and years ago, 10 to 20 years ago. It's a lot more advanced now. It's very different, and that reminds me of a scripture, because the war that's coming, it's coming of burning and fuel of fire, right? And what's going to cause that? Nuclear weapons, missiles, drones, right? Jets, things of that nature. So let me get that. This is Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5, and it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise. And that's how it was back then. You had the warriors meet up on the battlefield. They'll go face to face, and then they would do their war cries. Some would pray before they would battle. They would ask the Lord to be with them, and then they would do war cries, man. And it was terrible. That's scary. And it says, and garments rolled in blood. That's what happens. You're slashing each other on the battlefield. Limbs are getting cut up. You're getting bloody. And it says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this is not your typical battle. It's going to be with burning and fuel of fire. And that's what Trump is getting ready for. This is what you see here. This all takes fuel, and this creates fire. Right? Missile defense, rockets, ICBMs, hypersonic missiles. It's all fuel and fire, man. Anyway, you get the point. Right? So let's go back here. Let's read a little bit more. Then it says here, Israel's missile defense challenge is a lot easier than one in the United States, said Marion Messmer, a senior research fellow at Chatham House, a research institute in London. The geography is much smaller, and the angles and directions and the types of missiles are more limited. The idea of developing U.S. defense capabilities enjoys some support in Washington, and Mr. Trump vowed during his first term as president to reinvent the country's missile defense capabilities. Robert Sufer, a former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Nuclear and Missile Defense Policy, argued in a paper published this month by the Atlantic Council, a Washington-based research group, that the current approach to homeland missile defense will no longer suffice for U.S. national security goals. So is it realistic? And no, it isn't. Right. Mr. Sufer cited the expansion of North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missile arsenal and said that the United States must also simultaneously deter Russia and China nuclear armed powers that have both declared an intention to expand their missile defense capabilities. That's a good little read, man. A good little article. And yeah, man, but this falls in line with biblical prophecy. So let's get Jeremiah chapter 51, and let's just see where the Spirit takes us. I really wanted to go into verse 3, so we'll read up to 3, and we'll see. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 1, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I'll raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. That destroying wind you can find in Revelation the 7th chapter. You can find it in this Revelation 7, 8, and 9, going into that destroying wind. And right now, the angels, they're holding back the destroying winds. And that destroying wind is going into thermonuclear destruction. Just if you want to get a little bit of an example, a nice example, you should watch Terminator 2. Going into Sarah Connor's dream that she had, or some vision or dream that she had. That's the type of destroying wind that the scriptures is talking about. That paints an illustration, that movie. So it's a good illustration Verse 2, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Yeah, and all the ones that do business with Babylon, they're all going to turn against Babylon. And they're going to mess her up. Right? And they're going to try and protect themselves, and they're going to go in their brigandine. So what is that word brigandine? Brigandine is armor. Right? And it says armor. Right? So, yeah, armor. It's an old English word for armor. All right. Raise himself in his armor. That's a good one. Harness the horsemen and get ye up horsemen, and send forth your helmets, furbish the spears, and put on the brigandines. That's a good precept too. Right? Because that's what they wore back then. They wore armor. They would wear a girdle or some type of mesh armor to protect them from the blows and the strikes that they would get from the swords. Right? So, yeah, this armor, or the modern day armor, is going into the Iron Dome that this guy is building. Right? That's that iron. Alright, so let's go back here. It says, thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power, of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of armies, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Yasharallah. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And yeah, man, the Lord is gonna avenge us, man. And he hasn't forsaken Israel or Judah, being the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Even though we went off, the Lord is still with us, and he's going to avenge us. And we've been oppressed in Babylon, and we're still being oppressed, right, through these different contracts and systemic, so-called systemic racism, right? They're still being oppressed to this very day. It's to the point now where our people, they think it's normal for them to be treated this way. They don't understand they're being discriminated against, and they're just living their lives, not giving a care in the world. But this devil knows what he's doing. But anyways, it says, be not cut off in her iniquity. That's true, her iniquity. Because Babylon is in the condition without having the law, which is the divine laws that come from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They're not following the laws, and they don't care to. Right? They make it legal for you to commit adultery, to abort your babies, and to defile the earth, all types of wickedness. They go against the Bible. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. That's right, it's the Lord's time. Right? We're on the Lord's time. You know, it says, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and a day to the Lord is 1,000 years. So you know what that means? We're on the Lord's time. Not on our time, we're on the Lord's time. And you know how you dictate time? Through prophecy. Because that's what the Lord gave us to tell the time. Right? He gave us prophecy, and he also gave us prophets to remind us of what time we're in. And that's the problem. You people don't want to listen to the prophets. You don't want to listen to the prophets. And your prophets aren't Joel Osteen, ain't T.D. Jakes. It ain't what's that lady from 7-Day Adventism? What's her name? I forgot that lady's name. Damn. Forgot her name, but yeah, Ellen G. White. Yeah. She ain't your prophetess, man. She ain't a prophetess. She ain't doing shit. Okay? She ain't telling you about the up and coming days of destruction. She ain't talking about thermonuclear destruction and all that. Alright? They ain't gonna save you. The prophets are out on the highways and byways on the street, wearing raggedy garments, man, and making videos all the damn time. So it says he will render unto her a recompense. That's right, payback. Recompense, because they gotta pay for what they've done. And you know what? They can't pay. They can't pay for all the crimes that they have committed against the nation of Israel and to the Heavenly Father. So you know what they're gonna do? You know what the Lord's gonna do? He's gonna kill you. He's going to kill you and destroy you. So, verse 7, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand. that made all the earth drunken. Nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. That's why the world is out of order. The nations are mad. They have gone ludicrous. They went away from their ancient ways and ancient customs, and now they have dabbled into the wine of Babylon, which is really idolatry and basically iniquity, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, that's why the Lord is going to destroy Babylon off the face of the earth, because Babylon is a bad example. You can't. It's a bad role model. You can't follow after Babylon, man. This is going to lead you down to the road of perdition. Yeah. So, anyways, let's go into another one. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 13. It says, "For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss." So it's not going to miss. And the Iron Dome ain't going to throw it off. Because that's why you set up the Iron Dome, to make those arrows miss their target, right? But the scripture says it shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. See that? The ends of the world. So you can't do that with a regular bow and arrow. Can't do that. This is talking about a missile. A missile that comes out of a silo or comes out of a submarine, right? That would be the bow. The silo would be the bow, and then the arrow would be the missile. So, and that's why they call them intercontinental ballistic missiles, right? Because they go from one continent to the other. So that's what it means by they'll be shot into the ends of the world. "Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth." Yeah, wherever the Lord wants to be destroyed, that's what the fire is going to consume. And guess what? America is going to be consumed. That's why they're like, is this really feasible? Does this make sense to build a defense system like this? Because this country is 400 times larger. Could it really cover the whole nation? So, and pretty much the experts are saying this isn't really, it doesn't make sense. The way this guy is trying to build this, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make sense. It's good in theory, but is it going to play out? Is it going to work out? So, yeah, man. Verse 16 says, "Like as an arrow which a shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again." There you go. So once that arrow is shot off, you can't run up in the sky and grab it and return it. Once it's shot off, it's going to be shot off, and it won't miss its target. Once it hits its target, it's game over. And you know what that means? These other nations, when they see that arrow being shot off in the sky and it's coming towards them, they're going to shoot their missiles off. And it's going to be total devastation. Total devastation. So it says, "Even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?" And the answer is the Lord, if you're of the elect. Alright, only the Lord can deliver you from this destruction. Right? Now, it says Hebrews chapter 1 verse 7, "And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire." And that's who's going to be controlling those missiles and guiding those missiles to their designated targets. It's going to be the Lord's angels. That's why it says, "and his ministers a flame of fire." Yeah, man. And they control fire, man. And they're going to be in that fire when this place is being burnt up. Hey, do you know how hot that fire and destruction is going to be? They predict that it's going to be well over 1,000,000 degrees. So that's going to burn all things, man. So that's telling you that the Lord's angels are in that fire, man. How could something get that hot? That's insane, man. That's insane. So this is Joel chapter 2, verse 7. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. This is talking about nuclear destruction, right? Neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the wall, they shall climb up upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. There you go, man. This is going into thermonuclear destruction. So the missiles, they ain't going to break their ranks. So every missile that is shot off is going to hit. It's going to hit no matter what. Right? They're not going to break their ranks. Yeah, man. And there's going to be nuclear fallout. The sun, the moon is going to be blacked out in the sky. Right? Nuclear fallout, nuclear radiation, nuclear ash. Not nice. So anyways, let's get let's see if I can find 100. So this is Revelation chapter 9 verse 16. Actually, I'll start at verse 14. It says, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Going back to Revelation, the 7th chapter, because there were four angels that were holding back that destroying wind. So now the Lord is telling them to let loose that destroying wind. So it says, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of man. So going into NATO and the EU and this man's system, you Edomites. Verse 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200. And by the way, who's a part of NATO and the EU? Like, who's basically running it? America. So America's going to be destroyed. Okay. So it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Yeah, and they're going to be destroyed, man, by thermonuclear destruction. So, hey, the Lord is going to get rid of the third part of men going into NATO and the EU and this beast system by fire, right? What's going to be shooting out fire? Right? Because this is describing how the missiles look. Remember, he's using the terminology of his time to describe what he's seeing. So when you're reading it in Old English, it doesn't make sense. But when you look at the makeup of an ICBM, you'll see it. You'll get a better understanding. You'll understand, okay, so that's what he means by his tail. That's what he means by a serpent. Because it looks like a serpent flying through the sky. When you look at words like fire and smoke and all that stuff, brimstone issuing out of their mouth, that's talking about the warhead coming out of its mouth, out of the top of the missile. Because that's what does the bulk of the damage. Right? So anyways, man, I hope this makes sense. Hope it was edifying. Till next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that do teach well, that have taught me the truth. To you I say shalom and shalom unto the hopeful at Kwam Yashal and Abba Baal Shalom.